Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show all members are present. If there is anyone or anybody from the public that wants to make a comment to the board, they will need to go over to the table there on the south wall and read the script and fill out the form to make a public comment. At the end, we will reserve 30 minutes for public comment, but you only get 3 minutes to speak on your topic. The board will not respond unless the chair allows it. I would hope that those that do speak will keep it cordial and to the board and not to individuals. So the quorum is very good to have in today's world, especially at these types of meetings. So can I get a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion?
Supervisor Miller, were you the second?
Yeah, first, second, third. No discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay. Introduction, new hire to the board. Kelly Fisher, payroll benefits specialist, auditor's office. Likes to work. She loves to work.
Yes, she does. I'd love to introduce Kelly Fisher, who has just joined our office last week as the new payroll and benefits coordinator. Some of you remember that Audrey Chapin retired after almost 46 years earlier this summer. And so Kelly succeeds her in that position, a little bit altered, but basically in that position. So she's the new face of benefits in the payroll and benefits department. She's hit the ground running, and we're really very excited to have her.
Yeah,
Welcome, Kelly.
Kelly. She's got a lot of experience in Pot County, I can tell you that. She should know her way around. She spent that much time at Iowa Western and Council School Systems. Now you've been with the county. I don't know where will you go next?
I think I'll stay here.
Okay.
Oh, good plan.
Don't be encouraging her to go anywhere. We don't want her to go anywhere.
Well, welcome aboard. This is our daily or weekly meeting at 10 o'clock on Tuesdays. So if your boss lets you out, you can come over. Okay.
I tell them they're welcome to come to any meeting. So.
Okay. You got any questions for us or anything? Okay. Well, again, welcome. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yep. Okay. Now we have proclamation. Need a motion and a second to approve and sign proclamation designating the month of September 25th as National Preparedness Month.
So move.
Second.
Okay. 2025, you want to speak afterward?
Sure.
Okay. 2025 Preparedness Month proclamation. Whereas disasters, emergencies can strike at any time, often without warning. And it is vital that individuals, families, businesses, and communities are ready to respond. And whereas Pot County is vulnerable to natural, technical, and man-made hazards, and whereas government agencies and disaster organizations cannot bear the sole responsibility to prepare for, respond to, and recover from disasters, and whereas emergency preparedness is the responsibility of every resident in Pot County, and all residents are urged to make preparedness a priority and work together as a team to ensure that the individuals, families, and communities are ready for emergencies of any kind. And whereas Pot County Emergency Management, an organization that coordinates and integrates activities to build, sustain, and improve our community's resilience to disasters, encourages households to create family disaster plans during the National Preparedness Month to ensure everyone is ready for the next emergency or disaster. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Potawatomi County Board of Supervisors, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2025 to be Preparedness Month in Potawatomi County, Iowa, and urge all residents to become better prepared in the event of a disaster. We further encourage attendance at the 2025 Pot County Preparedness Fair to be conducted on Thursday, September 18th, 2025, from 5 to 8 at the Pot County Emergency Operations Center. Signed this second day of September 2025 in Potawatomi County, Iowa. Thank you. What do you got?
Thank you. Well, first, thank you. Thank you for that. It is National Preparedness Month. This year, as you mentioned, our preparedness fair will be our 5th annual, since we've been doing that. And I know, Mitch was gonna try and put up the website. I just wanted to draw your attention to it. We've rolled out some more things this year. And just wanted to bring it out. There'll be, I think, some press releases that have already gone out. I know Kate from Public Affairs has been coming to our staff meetings each week to help us get ready for this month and prepare the resolution for you. And we certainly appreciate her help in everything. But my staff has done a great job getting ready for this year. We've created some of our own very short preparedness videos on each of the week's topics. There's a different topic each week. Some of you graciously participated in that effort. So this will all be going out on social media and all kinds of stuff. And through our different links, we've got a ton of different preparedness resources for the community to look at so they can take advantage of those tools, tips, and tricks. And in light of, well, really since 2019 and even before, this county certainly is very familiar with large events and disasters with where we sit in the country, and we seem to not shy away from that stuff, unfortunately. So it's really important for our folks to be prepared. The more individuals and households and businesses are prepared, the easier and the quicker and the more sustainable our communities and businesses and schools and everything else is going to be. So it's really the first stopgap, the first piece of the puzzle in the solution of recovering from that disaster rests within everybody's home. So that's kind of what the drive nationally is for September on Preparedness Month and those kind of things. So we've got a lot of tools and things for people to take advantage of. Again, we'll have weekly social media campaigns going on. I know we've got a spot on Bluffs Country that's running weekly right now. I believe Gabe will be doing another podcast with Todd Studer here shortly. So we've got a lot of things that we're doing, but the preparedness fair on the 18th really culminates it. I hope each of you will be able to make it. If nothing else, you can come grab a hamburger or something. But we'll have kids games out there, some family fun games. I believe we're set up to have some face painting for the kids to take advantage of too. And usually we have about 20 or so community organizations that all get involved in disaster relief and recovery efforts. It'll be there to hand out information on general preparedness, no matter what it is. So it'll be a good time. So just encourage everybody to show up. Without that,
You don't have a rain day.
no, we don't need a rain day.
Sunshine.
No, we've prepared for that. So
Okay.
it won't rain. It won't rain that day. I talked to somebody. Yeah, I know a guy. I know a guy.
Who's your team?
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
My deputy director, Gabe Barney. Jamie Meek is one of our emergency management specialists. Ben Fichter, also a specialist, the newest member of the team, and Michelle Bose. And they do, I've got the best team.
Appreciate all that.
For sure.
Yeah. We need to get a picture for our,
Yes, I believe that's what,
she's not.
Kate wanted us to make sure, and I think she had somebody set up to do that. So there she is. So up front there.
Roll call.
Chairman Bell. Supervisor Miller.
Aye.
Supervisor Wickman. Supervisor Shea.
Aye.
Supervisor Jorgensen.
Well, let's finish that first, Jeanette.
So your preparedness fair is at the same time as the farmer's market.
Yeah.
By design.
Nice. That's great.
Yep, and we'll be at the farmer's market the week before as well, handing some stuff out. Usually works out good for everybody.
Yeah, it's a lot of,
Take advantage of the people walking around. Bay
right,
Park.
there's a lot of customers and warm bodies. There it is. Last year was a really big turnout.
Cheese.
Yep.
Kate, Kate, approve it?
I didn't bring it.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
Guys.
Okay, Paul Assman Consulting Services, PLLC, discussion and or decision on how Assman Consulting Services can assist the county on an interim basis until an engineer is hired.
And I just want to tee this up. Through Hungry Canyons and Golden Hills, I've become acquainted with Paul Osmond. Shortly after his retirement as a Crawford County engineer, he established his own LLC for the purpose of providing consulting services to counties and county engineers on road-related projects and engineer best practices. He's not looking for a full-time or a part-time commitment, but he is making himself available for consulting and mentoring. And I see him adding value as we onboard a new engineer, especially an engineer who may not have much experience as a county engineer. Thanks for coming in this morning, Paul.
Yep.
And thank you. I kind of back up just a little bit on the creation of the LLC. I was Crawford County engineer for 25 years and tendered my retirement notice in June of 2024. And we proceeded to try to hire a county engineer. Much like a lot of other counties, we got no applications. We didn't get any over a 5-month period. And we were in the midst of a fairly complicated bridge project that's bundled with 8 other projects, similar to the one I think you have near Underwood.
Right.
And so my concern was that we were going to leave because my assistant hadn't had his license yet, and we were going to, I was going to depart, and there wouldn't be a licensed engineer to kind of carry the torch or the baton, if you will. And so that's the reason why I created it was in an effort to kind of continue with that project and perhaps any other projects. I worked really hard for 25 years to build a good program there. And I think we had a really good organization there when I left and still do because there's a lot of good staff in place. But that's the reason why I established that. I retired because I didn't want to work as much as I was. and so you're kind of finding yourself in a similar situation with, I think, a project that is somewhat complicated in nature and it's bundled with a number of other projects. I'm not a salesman, okay? I'm an engineer, business person. You've got a $24 million a year business basically that you're needing to run. And I think you're probably all in line with the fact that you probably need someone there. I'm willing to help in a limited basis in advising, perhaps guiding. I do bring quite a bit of experience in the county engineer world. I've been involved in about everything you can think of in Crawford County. We don't have an HR department. In Crawford County, we don't have a safety and risk management department. I did all of that. I did all of my own. We do all of our own bridge inspections. We do most of our design in-house. I managed the work comp program. I managed the safety program, as well as the design. Most of our design was done in-house. So we did quite a lot of work as well. And in the 25 years that I was there, we replaced 170 of the 250 bridges, either replaced or eliminated. So I have a lot of background in bridges. I've done a lot of the inspection myself. I've got a certification as a team leader and a program manager, which I don't think you have either of those at this point in time. Not that I'm looking to do bridge inspections and crawl up and down creek banks or anything like that. But again, I think, the basis of the proposal that are provided to you, and by the way, this would be the first time I've done this in my career, was that you were going to have an engineer on board and you were looking for someone to kind of guide and advise and help that person along to understand some of the mechanics of county engineering, if you will. So, I'd be open to any questions.
The nuances of it. So, how many employees would you have had?
50.
You had 50?
And we would have 35 to 36 full-time and 15 part-time. We really,
You had 15
embraced-
part-timers?
we had 15 part-time because we managed for the peaks. And so in the summertime, we had a full-blown grading crew. We probably graded, and we've got 200 miles of dirt road, level B roads, but ours are dirt roads. And they were like trails, somewhat embarrassing. But we would do maintenance grading on those, and we do 10 to 12 miles a year of maintenance grade.
Right.
And so we had a full-blown grade crew. We have a full-blown bridge crew, do 6 to 8 bridges a year, a number of culverts. And so, yeah, our focus was on getting things done, and we got a lot of work done.
We're probably about twice the size, road-wise, I think.
You got, I think, 1,200.
Double.
Yeah.
Double.
Yeah.
What, you mentioned in here, but it sounds like you don't want to get involved in that, administration, so you don't want nothing to do with that, right?
Well, honestly, to be effective when you talk now, administration's a broad.
I know, but
Okay.
that's why I'm saying it's in here.
If you pick out like dealing with the budget, okay, you can deal with the budget. But administration covers everything. It
Right.
covers everything from purchasing materials, purchasing equipment, fuel contracts. Who's going to decide when this snow removal efforts are undertaken, and hiring and firing, purchasing equipment. I think I would be more effective in specifically working on perhaps your Magnolia project. And I talked to the DOT, and this was going to be the case in Crawford County, that based on the experience that I had, they were going to allow us to continue to move forward with that project, even if the county didn't have a full-time engineer on staff. They would allow that same thing here. Okay. But to really be effective, you have to be involved on a day-to-day basis from a larger administrative standpoint. I just looked over the budget with Tina this morning, and once a month you look it over, you're looking at the claims, your payroll's not going to change a whole lot unless you have something really crazy happen. Your insurance isn't probably going to, so if you take your benefits and set those aside, unless you have something crazy happening in the health insurance world, which we did have in Crawford County in 1 year. But that shouldn't really change. Where you're going to see the needle move is in your claims. Okay. What happens throughout the year? Let's say you have a terrible winter. You got a lot more materials you have to buy, or you have a terrible spring and all of a sudden you're buying another $500,000 worth of granular material. Or a project that you had planned on doing doesn't happen, goes to the next year, or one gets advanced. And so in your claims is where you're going to see the issue. So you'd be looking at those on a regular basis. The 5-year program, is just taking a quick glance at that. It looks like you've got, and I just got this handed to me before I walked in the door here, but it looks like you've got a fairly large HMA project that's proposed for this current fiscal year, which we're in right now, 2026. Not sure what the status of that is, whether that will be led or not, and so, again, the whole proposal was based on having someone in the engineering seat and then helping guide them.
Yeah, mentor.
I'm not here to advocate for me being your county engineer.
I get it.
And so more of an advisory role, similar to what I was going to do had Crawford County. My assistant ultimately got licensed. Wasn't terribly excited about taking over the position as county engineer, because there's a significant difference between being the county engineer and the assistant. And, but he, at the end of the day, agreed to do it.
Good.
The, Paul, thanks for coming and providing a kind of a detail of what you'd like to do. We have contracted with HGM to handle the engineering on that Magnolia Road Bridge already.
I don't think that bridge has been let. I think the one that they're working on is one that's already been let, that's under
Okay,
construction.
isn't that the one you're talking about?
No.
The different.
The bundled one is, there's some other counties that gotta get their,
Well,
Back
we're
together.
good. Crawford was one of those. We had.
right, but I mean, I don't know if you're the one that's got the problem, Crawford, but there's like 2 or 3 that's got some issues.
There's some challenges, yes. And
So it's,
Yeah, and HGM is working on that.
well, they can only do their county. If the other counties don't get their
Right.
stuff
But
done.
they're handling it for Potawatomi County.
Right, but the DOT's,
I think we're talking two different
Wait.
bridges.
I think we might be talking about two different bridges, and the limited knowledge that I have, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a bridge currently under construction that was let, that just started here a few weeks back. They're providing construction services for that
For the
particular
bridge.
project. McClure Engineering is the design engineer
For the
for
other
the
one.
Magnolia project. They just got NEPA clearance. There were some issues with NEPA clearance, because I just talked to a lady at the DOT local systems office. So that's been cleared now environmentally to move forward. So they are the design firm that then will move from this preliminary design to a final design phase. So there are two different projects. And in the bridge, the Magnolia Bridge near Underwood is part of the 8 county bridge package that everybody's concerned about continuing to move those projects forward.
exactly.
And that's the one HGM spoke about that they were working on.
So that, they can't yet because they don't, did somebody receive that document he's talking about from the DOT saying that they went through the NEPA clearance?
It was sent to Brandon, so they were working on getting it to us.
Well, I'd like to get that clarified.
Yeah.
As far as some of those other tasks, we have contracted with the Mills County engineer to
The OT lab too.
be our interim engineer. And,
6 hours a week.
and I think we can handle that. As far as, being there to help to train and engineer, we may end up hiring one that has county experience and don't need it.
And that's very possible.
So I think it's a little premature. Did we put this out for an RFP?
Don't have to.
Okay.
Professional services.
Well, I think that was part of the comments made when we brought on HGM, that we didn't put it out for an RFP.
Yeah,
Don't have
you're
to.
right.
It's professional services.
I think we should consider that too.
So is your hourly rate, is it break then in the quarters, half, 3/4 hour, or is it flat hour?
No, it'd be broke down.
Okay.
Attorneys charge on 6-minute
Oh,
increments
no, I,
so that they
It
can break
used to
it
be
down
8.
by 1/10 of an hour.
Susan, is this the fellow that you're talking about that would take a look at the applications we are receiving for a county engineer and kind of assess their qualifications? Is this the person you're talking about?
He would be qualified to do that, but that's not something we've discussed as a board yet.
Okay.
I threw it out there as a suggestion, but we didn't make any decisions.
Well, can I ask the question?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to assess the applications we're receiving as far as qualifications for county engineer?
I helped Carroll County when they were trying to hire an engineer. I sat in on the interviews, went over the applications with them. They asked me to help, and I just,
Okay,
it's
so
neighboring
you
county, so I just went
Might
over. it.
possibly be willing to.
So if you would want that service, I could help you with that.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
See, I'm a problem solver and a gap filler. And right now we've got a problem to solve and we've got a big gap. And that's why I brought Paul in, because I see him a subject matter expert that can provide some oversight and mentor a new engineer into the process. We didn't have that transition period, and Paul could fill that gap as far as just, here it is, September. Have you got these things planned for December? Have you got these things started for January? Just that expert opinion, and that's why I brought Paul in, and I will make the motion to approve a consulting agreement.
Jake, you're talking 6 hours. You don't want nothing to do with that other stuff, do you?
Again, he's talking primarily, this was proposed when a full-time engineer is on board, so there's a lot more training involved. And then he's also talking about specifically the Magnolia project, which my understanding isn't a normal bridge project. It's bundled, it's much more complicated. So when you get into that as a project specific, to me, my personal opinion is, yeah, that's gonna take a little bit more time, a little bit more zoomed in, focus eyes on it, and that's something Paul could probably provide rather than me trying to balance two counties, so. Because he's gonna be focused on the project, kind of going back to what he said, administration. I'm doing all of that, in Mills County, so I mean, there's a lot that goes with that, and then still trying to help here at Potawatomi, so. For that complicated project, my personal opinion is a good idea.
I think it's something we need. I'm gonna make a second on that.
As I said, I think it's a little premature to bring anybody on right now.
Well,
And
we may
especially,
not need them
well, so
too
when,
much.
so when are you gonna bring him on then?
We need it.
Tomorrow?
Do we have something tomorrow we need?
I don't know, I'm asking you.
It's sitting here, right here, ready to go, so. I think it'd be a good move.
Well, I think we can, decide when we want to start the consulting service. We've got, some pretty good applications now that we've, posted the position in areas that it should have been posted before and had the assumed salary ranges posted with it. Seemed like the flood of apps started coming in, so, I think, having Paul be, kind of a sounding board might not be too bad. And it may only last a couple weeks, may last. Jake might tell me, he's done tomorrow, and then
You don't get any retainer fees up front, do you?
so, he'll submit his, time and stuff to us, so we'll have a pretty good idea on how that goes and moves forward, and hopefully keeps his communication going, and.
I would say I would not do anything unless it's authorized
Right, yeah,
by you. I mean, if you say, hey, Paul, we want you to work on this,
right,
then that's what I'll do. And
Right.
complete open communication. If there's issues, I'll communicate back to you and
you're not gonna change tires and change oil, are you?
absolutely not. So, I think the focus for you all should be to try to get someone in the engineer's position as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
I really do. And,
Well, I think if we would have done the application and posting, we would be a lot further down the road. For some reason, they posted it for whatever reason, without any kind of information.
yeah, and to Supervisor Wickman's point, you may find that perfect candidate that brings to the table all the qualifications that you need.
Right.
And you would hope for that.
Well.
And I would hope for that for you.
And from being there, it's all about relationships with your employees. So,
Absolutely.
that's the main thing. I mean, you gotta be able to pet them and pat them.
I had a good fortune to go to the Berkshire annual meeting.
Sure.
Listen to Warren Buffett for 5 hours. Wish I'd have done that 40 years ago. But anyhow, he said to be successful, the young girl asked him, what do you have to do to be successful in life? And he says, well, work hard and surround yourself with good people you trust.
Yeah.
And I mean, he said, I think if you do those things, you'll be okay. And so you're right about the employees, building trust with the employees and is really important.
Yeah.
So.
Call for a vote.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Paul. We'll be talking. If you want, you can stop out here at Jeanette and grab our cards. And you'll have our emails and phone numbers and stuff.
Who should be my primary point of contact?
Well, sad to say, any one of us really, but Jeanette may be coordinating it find where we're at. We don't all,
You have any, you want to get a hold, you'll go through Jeanette and then likewise.
you'll get to us and we can get back to
I'll
you.
coordinate with her.
And there you go. I don't know. I don't wanna filter it through Jay because he's got enough filtering to do already. So if we then we'll go to Jake if we need him.
Very good.
Does that sound fair?
That sounds fair. Yeah, I know
Okay.
Jake real well, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know him?
I do.
I'm originally from Audubon County, Audubon.
Okay.
So here to compare Audubon County and Crawford County.
Pardon?
Here to compare Audubon and Crawford County.
Both great west central Iowa counties.
You weren't on Surf Deck, were you?
Yes,
You were?
I was the vice chair of that committee till they eliminated it, unfortunately.
Well, we still meet.
I
As a quasi whatever. Yeah.
don't think anybody liked that. DOT didn't want it.
Well, yeah, it's
That,
a
half
bad-
$1 billion in money that goes to locals that.
Right.
He has no interest in.
exactly. No, we met this year. So, meeting. Okay. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Okay, Jake, interim county engineer, Tina Trentino, operations administrator, secondary roads, discussing a decision to move forward on with rural and tribal assistance pilot program discretionary grant and to approve resolution 51-2025.
So when MAPA was here 2 weeks ago, they made reference to the RTA program grant that was 100% federally funded, and there is no requirement for cost share or match. The dollar amount per each application could range from 250 to 2.5 million. And the anticipated selection notification date is December 2025. The rural and tribal assistance pilot program provides up to 54.2 million in no match grants on a first come, first served basis to support legal, technical, and financial advisors to help advance infrastructure projects in rural and tribal communities. And we've got applications that will be accepted beginning September 8th, which is later this week, at 1:00 in the afternoon. And this is on a first come, first served basis. So the applications that get submitted September 8th have a better chance of being approved and funding. So Jake and Tina are here this morning to tell us a little bit more about the project.
So we don't know a whole lot about it because this is kind of last minute, but what we do understand is this is something that John was working on before he left with Harrison County and looking at L20, which is Old Lincoln Highway. And basically it's looking at flood resiliency. So if there's flooding, I-29 gets shut down, all that traffic gets pushed over to Old Lincoln Highway. There's some low overheads with the railroad there. So my understanding is this application is combining joint efforts with Harrison County. Look at the preliminary design of that and figure out if there's a way to help, I guess, build the resilience there and kind of accounting for those natural disasters. So looking at the design of that, John now being in Harrison County, has offered to take the lead on this. So he would be putting together an application, doing the brunt of the work, and any portion of his work that he's doing for Potawatomi County, it'd be an agreement. That's basically what the resolution is, saying that Potawatomi County would reimburse him for his time. So the kind of important things about this, again, is it's first come, first served basis. So I want to get it in as quickly as possible. But then also, if this does go through, whenever the new engineer does come in, myself and Paul, it's going to be important to help tell them how important this is, because if, again, you're working with another county, if we drop the ball, then we're both losing this grant opportunity, and then we're going to be, basically that counts against you as a county, blacklisted when you go forward applying for other federal grants. So it's important to, understand how serious this could be, but as also a good of an opportunity it is. So that's primarily the information we know about it. I would definitely recommend going for it. It's no match reimbursement program, and John's willing to take the lead on that. So doing the most of the work
So
when
we're
it comes to
building a
application.
bridge completely around that and then removing it?
I don't know the details of it. That I believe this grant is to just get that money to then hand it off to a consultant, and then they're gonna look at different options and then boil it down to what the best option is.
Yeah, the
But we
grant's for the
don't-
planning, environmental and design phase. And then within the grant, you can hire someone to go seek construction funding on it as well.
We don't know who's the people that are filtering and deciding who's gonna get the projects. And this is all going to DC, right? So there's a lot of big problems in transportation on both coasts. No, I think we should continue to proceed with all these grants and,
Yes.
and those types of options. And I would think that MAPPA should play a pretty big role in this. And, I don't know how would you normally in one of these processes, account for the time that John will be spending preparing applications and administering the study?
I think that, I'm gonna like help within the department just so it doesn't take all of Jake's time. And I've applied for and been awarded and processed grants in the past. So John and I will kind of coordinate together and just track it and, verify there. If he reaches out to me for any information, we'll monitor it and, keep a spreadsheet going.
So so the time is the 8th, which is this coming Monday. So you'll do your time Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right?
Mhm.
And then you'll sit and wait for some kind of response.
Correct.
Till December?
You said December, correct?
That's the way I read it.
Okay.
What, that's all in Pot County. What is the bonus for Harrison County to stop that traffic coming through town? Is that what they're in it for?
Yeah, John also kind of mentioned, was it Highway 30? The DOT's been talking forever, but I think they are getting closer to redoing that and connecting, L20 into that. So that's kind of where it bundles in Harrison too.
So
Like
is
a
it
highway that goes all the
is
way
it called L20 going into Harrison too?
Yes. I think I clear up to Mo Valley, isn't
To
it?
the main street?
That's all county up to Main, or to, Main Street. Then it's 183 going north
Right.
out of,
So crossing all those tracks, that's L20 that's,
Yeah.
okay.
I think we should go ahead with it. And I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that's been a mess for,
I'll make a motion to go forward with it.
no, okay. I thought you, oh man,
No, we didn't, yeah.
okay,
Um,
so you make a motion.
I will second. And
Okay.
it's my understanding it's $1.5 million.
Correct.
To that, isn't it, or,
That's the amount that we're going to request.
oh, okay. That's a guesstimate that.
Yeah.
Figured, okay. Who came up with that? Mappa or?
I'm not sure where that figure came from. I think, I don't know, John put that together just from past experiences.
Able to
Yeah.
apply for what? 2.5 million, maybe we should be. Like,
Well,
and see what else we get.
Well, I think it would be strategic, if you're applying for the 2.5, maybe they'll bump you down a little bit.
Right.
Just 1.5, they'll give it to
Okay.
you.
This is for the study
Yeah,
Right.
and the design?
and the engineering. Yep,
Okay.
all the engineering.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Chairman Belt,
All right.
Supervisor Wickman.
Aye.
Supervisor Jorgensen, Supervisor Shea,
Aye.
Supervisor Miller.
Hi,
Thank you.
thank you, Jacob, for coming up this morning.
Okay, when does their board meet?
Thursday.
Thursday? Okay, Jason Slack. Director of Buildings and Grounds, discussion and/or decision on purchasing sealant for courthouse campus parking lot.
So we wanted to get some sealant put down on the new concrete, before winter this year, to help preserve it. And we've done research on quite a few different types of sealant. And what we've kind of settled on was this silicone-based, treatment that penetrates into the concrete and chemically bonds with it. They claim there's no reapplication necessary with this product. It's low VOC, it's environmentally friendly.
They spraying it on or rolling it on?
We will be applying it ourselves, so
Okay,
th-
you're
this
gonna
estimate's
roll it
just-
on?
it's just for the material.
Right, but you're gonna roll it on?
We'll spray it on with a sprayer.
You're gonna spray it, okay?
Yep.
I just had it done, on some concrete. Your price that you're getting is half of what I paid for the 5 gallons of it. And the stuff I had was, I hadn't heard of this brand. Aqua Ron 2000. My, that's what I saw it was, right?
This is for totes, so we're not buying 5-gallon buckets. It's an actual tote. that-
Oh, really?
On the forklift, yeah.
No wonder you get.
We've got enough to treat everything in the courthouse campus, including the Veterans Affairs building
Right,
and everything.
that's great. This is L&M AQUALPEL. L&M Aquapel. Down at, what's that deal in Nebraska? Was that Carroll Supply or
Oh,
whatever?
yeah, yep.
It's, I mean, yeah, we should have done those probably years ago, but the sooner we get them done, the better.
You talked about not doing this lot.
We won't be able to do this new one until next year, but we will have enough of this product left to apply it next year.
They told you that to sit for a year?
Yes.
Who told you that?
Our-
These guys?
The sales rep.
I think that's correct.
Is that the process the concrete goes through to cure?
Yep.
Is that what I'm?
Yeah, because they use that white pig cure on that concrete. And that's the reason why he said they need to let it sit for a year before applying it.
They talked to you about power washing it?
Yeah, what we're gonna do is, there's gonna be a guy going ahead, power washing everything. And this Acron 2000, they want it to be applied when the surface is a little bit damp. No puddling water, just a little bit damp. So, we'll have a guy,
Talk to you about temperatures?
yeah, 40 degrees and above for 6 hours.
Below what? Below 90?
Yeah, there was a high temp, but I don't think we're gonna hit that this fall, so.
These guys, I mean, they're not real big on the power washing stuff. They said you just need to wash it and broom it.
Well, this sales rep was gonna come down when we start to apply it and give us, get us started, get us on the right path. But he prefers it to be damp when we.
Well, no, I can get it, but that power washing, they said tears some of that, whatever, off the top of the concrete. I got 2 concrete guys here.
Sure, yeah, we're not gonna
You
try to
guys-
take.
You guys don't put sealant on your roads, do you?
Rich guys usually do.
Yeah.
To me, the highway research board, the verdict was still kind of out because they work good, but they don't last very long. The UV from the sun, so.
What do you use for winter stuff? Are you using calcium chloride still?
We're pretty much just salt. We started doing that and this year we're going back away from not doing it. Sometimes we'll spray a little bit on the salt, on the road salt, just to help keep it sticking, but we tried a little pre-treatment and
Didn't
we
work.
didn't see much benefit from
Oh,
it.
beet juice. What'd you do?
We use a mixture of calcium and salt and sand,
So you're using calcium?
yeah, in a small quantity, but it really helps when you get into those lower.
Oh, yeah.
temperatures.
But it's tough on stuff.
And it's terribly corrosive and
Yeah.
it's,
Jason, what's the condition of the VA parking lot?
It's in good
It's
shape.
in pretty good shape.
How old is that?
2016, the building was turned over to us. I'm not sure exactly when that concrete was poured. Probably, I'm guessing around 2015 before I was here.
So this proposed sealant, what's it gonna do for us?
It's gonna help extend the life of our concrete. It's gonna help prevent some of the spalling that we'll get. Like we had some spalling out here in the front, when we put our ice melt down. But we've got to put ice melt down for the public.
Yeah.
This will just help preserve the life of the concrete. I mean, we've got probably $2 million worth of concrete around the courthouse and the campus that we've just installed. And we just want to try to, even if we save a small part of that concrete, there'll still be an ROI from that.
How are you gonna pay for that, Chase?
I was gonna ask the board for some money.
So we,
Mitch?
the board sets aside roughly $50,000 for buildings and grounds within gaming, and there would be a little bit extra in there still available. I think, what was this, 60,000, something like that.
Yes.
6,655.40.
So it'd be my suggestion if you ever take it out of the gaming.
Yeah.
So has this sealant been tested with just rainy conditions to make sure it's not slippery?
It's not supposed to be slippery at all.
Not supposed to be.
No,
but has
the
it been
high
tested?
B's have used it in their parking lots. We do have a list of past customers that have used it. And we've contacted a couple of them. City of Pittsburgh Public Works. UPS has used it. We've just got kind of a list of, there's some places in Omaha that we've got that have used it. It's not gonna make it slick. It soaks, this stuff penetrates down into the concrete up to 3 to 4 inches. And it's silicone based down in there, so it just kind of keeps the water from penetrating
Jason.
down inside that.
Will you apply on the weekend or what?
Yeah, that's what we'll do. So we'll come in, we'll plan on doing one parking lot at a time.
I thought the same thing. I said to the guy, I don't want to step out here and fall my ass, and what it does, and I don't know if this is, I'm sure it's pretty close to the same stuff. I don't know, 3M or Monsanto or somebody makes all this stuff anyway, I think. It just beads up. And I thought I could go out there and slide across there or something, and for some reason it doesn't, so a shot. And it's not, the yellow stripes, the paint is more slicker than this stuff is.
I've seen a lot of construction projects done like this, sealed, and some without. And it really, the salt and everything we use tears stuff up.
Well, the cars that come in and out with
Right.
stuff on them, and we got a lot of people that
Right.
live out in the county and come here and,
So this bid doesn't include doing the road operations center?
No, it does not. They actually, I talked to Tina, she said that they had some applied when their lot was done.
I would make a motion to approve this with Mitch, how you describe funding, okay?
I'll second that.
discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, on the same sign, hearing none, motion passes. So you'll schedule that kind of different lots at a time or something?
Yep.
Okay.
Soon?
Yeah, we'll have to get it done here before winter, so we'll be keeping an eye on the weather and trying to miss the rain and get it down before the temperature drops below 40, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Jason.
Well, and then whatever, if you would happen to run in, then you could just do them next spring, because you're gonna have the stuff in the barrel, right?
Yes,
Yeah. So,
yes.
Are you storing that downstairs?
We'll store it at Avenue C.
Yeah.
It's not flammable or anything, so.
Okay.
I'm rolling mine on. Just so, we'll see whose holds better.
Okay.
Okay, Kristen Bracker, attorney, discussion or decision to approve addendum to the forgivable promissory note agreement for Minster Street property.
So this is an addendum, because 712's attorney reached out to me after we had signed the forgivable loan or the forgivable promissory note agreement. 712 needs to transfer their property to, I believe, NeighborWorks so that they can combine them and then split them into 3 parcels instead of the two that they are right now. And so this is just allowing them to do that and not have any issues with the agreement that we've already signed. I believe everybody knew that that was the plan from the beginning. We just never worked that into the actual agreement, so.
We talked about it last time it was before us.
So all of this changes is allowing them under the agreement to transfer the property out of their name with the understanding that one of the built houses will go back into their name when the project is completed.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Any other discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign.
Thanks for working on it.
Hearing none, motion passes. That corner's been empty a long time.
Yes, it has.
Hopefully that'll change soon.
Yeah, well, they still gotta finish those ones on the 8th Street that were, they got 3 or 4 left there anyway. Okay, Jeff Franco, Executive Director, Conservation, and Chris Halbeck, River Valley Trail Riders, update and discussion on off-highway vehicle park status.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate the time.
Yeah.
This is just really an update. It's kind of a status check on something that we've been working on a little bit and want to have a formal discussion with everybody to get your thoughts on this. And so Mitch is pulling up a map of the area here. I think if you can zoom out on that just a little bit, Mitch, we can see the whole property or not, but that'll help with the discussion. So back in 1998, I believe it was, the DNR, the City of Council Bluffs, and a group of volunteers, River Valley Trail Riders, kind of collaborated to put together an off-highway vehicle park. It's UTVs, motorbikes, things along those lines, an area where people can go recreate down near the river. That was in existence until about 2019 when the floods closed it down. Since that time, the DNR, the City of Council Bluffs, and the River Valley Trail Riders have approached the county about a partnership to reopen this. And so to give a little more history on this, just so we can kind of get the context for this potential project, I'm going to turn over to Chris here, who just kind of can go into some of the details of the history.
Yeah, 95, some off-road motorcycle enthusiasts approached the state who own the property south of the former trail center on the west side of the levee, bordered by the river on the west, the levee on the east. Downing Drive as it cuts across below the pond, and then 275 to the bottom. It's 390 acres. It's that piece right there. The state does not operate OHV parks. There are 8 in the state. That section is designated by the Natural Resource Council as an OHV park, and there's a sticker fund that funds it. But the state doesn't want to run it. They want a club or a local administrative body to run the park. It opened in 98 when the trails were laid in. They had a parking lot to the south. If you can go down a skosh. It does get inundated with water periodically. The flood of 11 and 19 flooded the park, but in wet springs, there's some standing water.
The DOT put that park, or the DNR put the park, or the parking lot in, didn't they?
DOT bought the property when they did the bridge. Then they turned it over to the state, to DNR, to run, and then the sticker fund put in the parking lot, the comfort station, the shade structures, hardened the levee for access, fenced it. So it ran for those years from 98 until 19. Shortly before 19, the state decided to run the park by rangers out of Manawa and sort of excused the club. I call it River Valley 2.1. I got involved 3 years ago when I bought a motorcycle and had no place to ride it. There are 8 OHV parks in Iowa, but none in the southwest quadrant. All the other ones are 3 or more hours away. So I've been advocating for 3 years. The state didn't feel like they had the horsepower to run an operation like this. And so Conservation was approached, and we've been meeting monthly, visiting the site. We developed this map. If you zoom out a little bit, you go into forward from here.
Sure.
But there is the expansion into the Western Historic Trails property, which is the teal and the purple, and then the yellow on the dry side of the levee. When the city, who's the levee sponsor, that's the Seek levee, needed to bolster the levee by adding fill on the dry side because it was piping water through in the 11 and 19 floods. They consumed the parking lot to the south, so that was no longer available to us for reopening. So they offered that bean field. It's about 40 acres there. There'd be an administrative building, a parking lot, and a beginner's area.
Yeah, so we've got a map here that's depicting things, and I want to make something very clear here as well, that this is really, this map at this point is for illustrative purposes only. This is a high-level theoretical discussion that we're having right now about the feasibility of something like this. From conservation standpoint, we know that there's a need for a few recreational activities in this county that we're not supporting. One of those is off-highway vehicles. There was equestrian, there's also a shooting range, things along those lines. So we are seeking areas and ways to fulfill those needs within the county. When we talk about what we're trying to do, this is an excellent opportunity to fulfill one of those needs. This would be on land that's owned by the DNR and the city, be funded primarily by the DNR as well.
So why doesn't the city want to do it?
So we've had that conversation with the city.
So that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
It's in the city.
Yep.
It's the city's property. They need the people to have that type of recreation. And then the county people can come in and use it just like they go out and use ours.
Right. They look at their parks, and their parks are different than ours. And I think
How's
their
that?
their level of expertise, well, when it comes to kind of the outdoor recreation side of things, RV camping, dealing with these types of activities, our staff have a little bit more experience with this as well, and managing some of this is on the same token as well. So
So do they
not
have-
necessarily
do they have better
OHVs.
management with trails than you do?
What's that?
Do they have better management with trails than you do then?
I would say we have the trails management that they
don't
do not have.
trails management.
So that's why they're coming to the city, to the county, to kind of say, you guys, this is more in your wheelhouse. Plus, it's something that we're actually looking to provide as well. And that's why we're saying, okay, we'd be willing to cooperate with both the DNR and the city on this to provide this recreational asset.
So someone gets called down there, it's gonna
Right.
be the city. City police, city fire, city ambulance.
So there's a lot of details like that, Scott, that still need to be worked through. And that's why we're having a very.
Set in stone, who's gonna do it?
And the COs, the state conservation
Yes,
officers.
conservation officers. The DNR would.
No, they're only one of those.
Yeah, the DNR, as part of the OHV, we've had this discussion that if we're gonna do this, we wanna make sure that it's done properly. And so the DNR would be willing to fund up to 1 to 2 staff members for this. Now, there would be some law enforcement potential needs down there as well. That'd be a collaboration with the city, with the COs, potentially with our park rangers as well. But again, these are details that we haven't gotten into yet. We've talked to the city because they own land that potentially might be needed for this. We've talked to the DNR about this, and we've been talking together as they have land. The county is the other primary key stakeholder here. And that's why we're coming to you guys at this point, at a very early stage in this process, really to determine, is there a fatal flaw with this? Is this something that we think could happen? If that's the case, we'd like to move this forward and have further discussions and come back with additional meetings that'll answer a lot of those questions.
Do you see structures in this area? Any kind of, I guess not buildings, but you say trails of some.
So you can see the red and black lines in the OHV park. That's represents multiple use.
It is a little hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there'd be motorcycles, ATVs and UTVs. And since the park closed in 19, that's when the side-by-sides were really kicking up and the sales have exploded. It's the biggest sector in off-highway vehicle use.
We're letting them on the highway roads now.
Well, and that's right. And so we would have multi-use vehicle trail, a 10-foot wide trail for all vehicles, then maybe motorcycle single track and ATV trails. On the west side of the levee, the Corps doesn't want to see structures. They don't want you to dig, they don't want you to build anything. There'd be a building and a parking lot on the dry side in the bean field. But in that teal area to the north, because that's in a flow shadow because of I-80, we would propose a kids track, a moto track, and a skills development area, which are really hot in OHV. Now there's obstacles to wheel over and learn skills to not flip your machine and hurt yourself. We think that may be permissible because the old road that goes underneath I-80 acts as a little bit of a levee, and then that's not in a flow area where the structures and excavation, they're trying to prevent flow diversion that would threaten the levee.
But for your question, Jeff, specifically from a building standpoint, we'd have the plan at this, again, this could all change, but at a high, very high level. One building that could support the 2 staff members that we'd proposed, house equipment and act as a check-in station, and then a parking lot that could accommodate trucks with trailers and those types of things with potentially additional overflow for just kind of your standard vehicles as well. But again, all of this could change, but very limited development. If whatever development did happen would primarily be funded by the DNR as well. Development would take place on the dry side of the levee. We would not want to develop anything structure-wise on the wet side of the levee. That would really just be scratching in trails. That's all it would be over there, with potentially some structures up there if it's allowed by the Corps. But again, we haven't even approached the Corps on this yet. These are things that we understand are a few years out. There's a long permitting process, but that's why we're beginning the discussion with you guys now.
You gotta hope there ain't no flood between now and then.
Well, and if it shuts down, that's
Then the
certainly,
water goes down
Yeah.
and we clean up. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's $1 million to clean up on the other side of that bridge, that park we got down there already.
Yeah, so that's what one of the things River Valley Trail Riders provide. We're subject matter experts and we're volunteers. And we have a group of 6 now. There are 2,500 people on our Facebook page. So there's a real pent up need here in a user group who are looking for a place to ride. When the club ran the park before, if they had a cleanup day, they'd get 200-300 people come down on a Sunday to volunteer time. So cleaning up debris and moving trees away from the fencing, that kind of thing would be volunteer labor. And, you know, the park north of the bridge is manicured. It's got turf grass. It has lighting and power. With a river bottom, if it gets wet, it eventually gets dry and it's kind of self-healing. You know, it's sandy, loam, river bottom soil. It's not, there's no hills to erode, or to trench out. So it's kind of an ideal place if you're gonna have an OHV park. We would do youth events and new rider orientation. The manufacturers are chomping at the bit to bring a truckload of machines down and get people using it. It's a healthy outdoor activity. And there'd be a lot of use. We would be targeting underserved populations in the county.
So the real reason for them to close it down was what?
I don't want to be negative.
I don't either, but the reality is what happened.
So somebody at the state, one of the rangers, decided they wanted to run the park. And it was a period of,
They came run the one down there, they got.
it was a, without being negative, maintaining.
It's not negative, it's honest.
So there was perhaps a period of, I'm searching for the term that isn't weakness, in the administration of the program at the time. And so the flood of 19 happened. The club was still there,
Right.
calling every day saying, we're out, how can we open the park? And then there was a turnover at the state at all levels and the administrator of the OHV program. And they didn't think there was a club. They didn't think there was anybody interested. The city had they had turned over, and they were a sort of a silent partner, right? So they were a little bit uninformed that they were a partner also after 19. So when I got involved, we found the old contracts and reviewed them, and the city board was very interested in reopening. The state has a new OHV manager who's really sharp, and I think you were talking about RTCA grant a minute ago?
The
RTA.
Oh, RTA, okay, it's a different one, because she administers that grant, it's a recreation grant as well. So I've been talking to her for 3 years. We've sent letters to the governor, we've met with the director, we've been to the Natural Resource Advisory Council several times. I've met with the delegation in Iowa, all of whom are supportive. So it closed for a number of reasons, but we would like to reopen because there's a need.
Yeah. And then is, Dick Downey and then, Better Memorial Highway, is that the only two in there then?
Yeah, that would be the primary.
So
Well,
So this would be three stages. This is getting the old park open with this addition would be stage one. That'd be stage two. This is stage three. Is so far out in the future that we put campgrounds in here just for fun because that can be funded by the grant. There is this one-way road that was associated with Western Historic Trails,
Closed almost.
came off of here. Well, it's closed all the time and it's one lane.
Right.
But Downing comes in here and it is recreation traffic up here, so it's a suitable
It's
use,
busy.
compatible. There's a turnaround here. So at times when the park would be closed, high water,
Right.
whatever, they can turn around, go back out, go into the park here.
And those dirt trucks almost got that Dick Downey Road turned into a gravel road.
They're,
Chris, wasn't the city talking about redoing that?
Well, they're
when
gonna
they're
have.
done,
Completely, but I mean, that's when they're done with it.
they're
That
gonna
was in the
redo
paper.
Downing.
No, I'm gonna guess they're gonna make it 3 lanes, I would think. I mean, the traffic down there, them dirt trucks need it to death.
They're waiting until they get done with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been down there probably once a month.
How many acres are we talking here?
This is 391. This piece, this is 89. This piece, I think this is 40,
About 40,
and then this is 190.
somewhere in there. Something like that.
Is that the soybean field where you said the 40?
Yeah. Sure.
And then the city owns that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't that a trade-off or something?
So the National Park Service owned all
Oh,
of this,
yeah.
with Western Historic Trails.
What's the bean field?
Then when the highway department, federal highways redid the freeway interchange, they consumed some of that National Park Service land. So they bought this and traded, I played golf with the chief of lands for the Park Service, so they traded him this for what they consumed up there. And then when the trail center closed, then the Park Service was looking for somebody to give it to, and their hierarchy is another federal unit, then a local unit of government before it would ever be disposed. So it went to the state historical department who didn't want it and gave it to the city. And it has a conservation easement on it. It has restricted use. It can only be used with public access for recreation.
So, yeah, I don't know if you know my history. I sat on that park board over there for about 12 years when Dick Downey was the parks director. So I'm pretty familiar with all it, and I spent most of my summers down there between Southmore Bridge Road and up close to the water plant,
That's,
where I wasn't supposed to be.
that's a lot of land. I mean, you can, there could be other uses too that people might be interested in, not just what you guys are doing, but driving school, for instance, or tractor trailer driving school or something along those lines. I'm just,
You can't put anything on the wet side of the levee.
you can't put.
No cement.
No cement, okay.
Can't dig.
On that
Can't.
side, the land that is, you see kind of the other phases up there, that is land that has to be used for recreation, educational purposes. Now, there's certainly areas for crossover in some of that. I think you could use it for training and consider that education and recreation at the same time. So I think there's a lot of potential in this area. I think that's the high takeaway that we're trying to give here, is that there's a lot of potential for something here. Certainly a need to meet the
Oh, yeah.
recreational
I don't
needs
know
of
what
people in the
next
county.
widget they're gonna come up with.
And we're a planning group. Partnership of people planning. We're not decision makers. So the city board has to have a resolution and the board of supervisors has to support.
Well, we want buy-in from all of the
Yeah.
key stakeholders.
And we want to hear your thoughts. We want to we want a win-win for everybody on this one.
Well, it never has and is never gonna produce what we call property taxes. It's gonna produce taxes in the, retail sales and those types of things. And bring more people here and maybe some more hotel motel rooms and stuff. But it's basically barren ground because the Corps is not gonna let anything happen there.
No.
You know,
That's why this is a compatible use that meets needs of people in this area. That's why it's so attractive, I think, to pursue this conversation at this time.
It's already designated an OHV park. To be designated has to go through the DNR's Natural Resource Advisory Council. But the old park is already
how many
designated,
acres-
just
how many
temporary,
acres was that then?
391.
The 391 is?
Yeah.
So does the rest have to be brought into that then?
Yes, and they've showed support every time we've been there and keep asking for briefings.
The UTVs and the ATVs are just gonna become more and more popular. And you see groups of them going to South Dakota and Wyoming because there isn't anything local that they can recreate for any sort of period of time. My concern would be with all the housing development down there and the noise. I'd like to see them run mufflers. I know that's not fun, but I think it's necessary and it would help us be considerate of the people that have lived down in that area.
That's something we've discussed with City Council Bluffs in our discussions with the DNR as well, is that noise is something we're gonna have to consider during this whole process. Noise mitigation, whether those are mufflers, whether it's some sort of physical barrier, something along those
You
lines.
guys don't run 24/7, right?
No,
No,
What time do you do it? What
dawn
time
to
do you-
dusk.
Dawn to
Dawn
dusk,
to
is that what you
dusk,
said?
yeah.
Okay.
And the state has a decibel limit. And by having a presence down there, they're all sold to meet the 92 decibel limit.
Yeah.
They have a Forest Service muffler too. So
Spark
sparks
arrestor.
don't come out and it's a certain quietness. It's when they modify them.
And they will.
They will, but they won't be welcome.
No, we would have to, so to be a state OHV park, there's a list of rules and you have to meet the decibel limit. And we've talked very concerned about that housing development there and mitigating in any way we can, any conflicts there. And we realize that noise is one of them. The parking lot would be vehicles and trailers and trucks unloading and then going over the levee. The levee acts as a shield, as a barrier and deflects noise upward. And so there shouldn't be much noise coming out of the parking lot in the beginner area. But we've talked about maybe a berm or some trees or things to absorb sound.
And having staff there just to be watching things, ensuring that everybody is following those rules through the check-in station. That's something that Conservation and Butch, Chris, excuse me, nickname is Butch there, if you want. That we've been adamant about, that we want to make sure this is watched properly. And that rules are enforced properly with this. This isn't something that we want to reflect poorly on the DNR, the city, and especially the county. We want this to be up to the standards of our parks, which we have a strong presence with our staff, make sure people are following the rules. We want that to happen down here as
What
well.
was it? Was it 2 years ago when that was all burning down there?
It's burned a couple of times.
That was probably
Last few years.
21, 2021.
2 years after the 19, was it? I think it was
Yeah, it wasn't long after
3 years after that.
19.
Yeah.
That property wouldn't have any use in the wintertime then. Is that
Oh, yeah.
what I understand?
Yeah, right, snowmobile.
I'm gonna say snowmobiles. I mean,
Or the four-wheelers.
Four-wheelers, bikes, people do that as well.
Theoretically open
Crazy
year
motorcycles.
round. It's pretty hot in the summer, so I wasn't riding back when it was open before. But talking to we reformed the club and it's some of the same guys, so spring and fall were the heavy periods of use. Days are short and it's cold and snowy in the winter, so that didn't get much use, and it's 98 degrees in the summer, so that didn't get much use.
Which, he talked about someone or two people working there. Is that funded by the state,
Yes.
by the sticker money?
Anything associated with preparing the park to open, facilities, equipment, staffing, and then operating the park comes from the OHV fund. That's the stickers that every OHV buys to run in the OHV parks, and every new OHV, whether they run in an OHV park or not, buys a sticker for $17.50. They're sold at the bait shop right over here.
Is that an annual sticker?
Annual sticker, they're sitting on $6 million. They have $1.5 million or $2 million annual revenue.
Really?
And well, since the side by sides kicked up, they've eclipsed all other use, and there's lots of them.
Yeah, I didn't know that that was a mandatory, deal to buy that sticker.
Every year.
And then that.
Not
that
for
doesn't-
use on private land or anywhere outside, but when they're sold new, that's one of the things that,
But they're, that doesn't designate them as, what would I say, street legal?
street, that's different.
That
That's
doesn't, so you gotta have a
gig.
different.
Yeah.
Deal for that,
That's just for the OHV parks, to enter an OHV park of the.
in Iowa.
In Iowa. Yep. But when they're sold new, they come with the sticker.
The meeting I went to,
For
they
20
talked-
bucks.
they talked about a tractor, a skid loader, and a
Yeah,
trailer.
there'd be equipment to maintain the trails and groom things. There'd be a mower, there'd be a trailer to pull stuff around. There'd be a couple of side by sides to go out with a chainsaw and clear windfall. There'd be a building to put it all in, a bunch of chainsaws and PPE.
There wouldn't be a lot. Heavy equipment to open the trails up.
Isn't
when
it
needed.
still pretty sandy down through there?
There's a big blowout in 11 again in 19, brought a bunch of that sediment up into the park.
That's
But
what I thought it was. You know, watch out for mushroom hunters.
it's a good spot for it. But we would be creating, marking and designating trails and expecting folks to ride on those designated trails. It would try to segregate some of the traffic. We'd have multi-use trails and then ATV trail and motorcycle trail, and then there'd be an every vehicle trail.
And the bicycle trail would still remain where it is with.
So that's a, so we've done a lot of thinking about this, and there is a bicycle trail that comes through there, and it's very popular.
Pull that back.
If we were to go to, were we to go to phase 2, that bicycle trail comes under the bridge on this old road, comes down here to this, and it's paved. And there's a paved levee crossing that goes into the ellipse in the parking lot from the old trail center. If we were to put a moto track and a kids track in a skills area there, we would have a conflicting use. We don't want to put pedal traffic with motor traffic. Talking to the city, to Public Works, that has been their long-term plan to run that bicycle trail along the right-of-way fence and then to get down here, getting out of this area. So that would be a part of phase 2 to manage that traffic. We'd also put giant culverts in and have them go through the tube and have the motorcycles on the top and the.
But managing that, those conflicting uses would be part of phase 2 if we got to that point.
Those sticker fees, they go to the state.
They go to the state. There's a statute that's managed by, we can bring the fund manager, the OHV program manager in here to have a talk about how that works. She's real sharp, easy to talk to. Half of it goes, and there's a grant committee with 2 people from Iowa OHV Association, who's the primary advocate in the state. They advocate for the whole state in OHV. They advocated for the development of this in the first place and also now. So there's a grant review board, and they take a portion of the pot and half of it goes to the state to put conservation officers and rangers and do other things, administer the program, and the other half is available to the clubs or the partners at the parks to run the parks.
So those fees would have to be able to pay for the equipment you need, the staff you need, maintenance that you need. So it is would be a project fully funded by registration fees.
Correct.
No taxpayer dollars.
Fully funded by the registration fees. We also have available to us Polaris. I have written a grant. It's ready to submit from Polaris. Yamaha has one, anything involving youth or new users, is big on their education for their grants. So there are other fund sources that are not taxpayers or county dollars or anybody else's dollars.
The ongoing cost, Tim, that you're talking about would be funded by the DNR and through their sticker funds.
Annual maintenance. And a good model for this is, up at Fort Dodge, Gypsum City is a partnership between their county recreation office and I can't remember who owns the property, but it's the old gypsum mine. They have 800 acres up there. They have miles of trails that were laid out by a landscape architect. They have a building. They have a campground that generates funds for their half of the program. They have 2 employees. They have contracts for grooming. They've got more fence than you've ever seen, 6-foot fence around the whole 800 acres. They have 3 moto tracks, a kids track, a practice track, a skills development area. And that's all funded by the state, and the state really is enamored by that program and would like to see us all convert that
I
way.
think this is a great opportunity
Chris,
to
you call that
replicate that.
gypsum?
Gypsum, like gypboard, like
Okay, gypsum.
rock gypsum city. There's a huge gypsum mine, many mines up
Up there,
there, yeah,
north Fort Dodge,
Fort Dodge.
up north of it.
West of it, I believe.
I think it's east of it.
Just southeast.
Southeast of it, I think.
Yeah.
Southeast.
It's somewhere.
Some by Fort Dodge.
We're in and around all the way.
My phone takes me there, I don't know.
But, so, there's they allow, or did allow, I'm sure they still do, allow deer hunters down there, the city does.
So those uses, we'd explore all of that, but my guess would be that would be an incompatible
Bow and
use.
arrows and riding 4-wheelers don't go.
Right, and deer and 4-wheelers typically don't go together either, all that well either, sticking around. But there've been a lot of high-level conversations. We've tested the waters in a number of different opportunities in a number of different ways. And by all accounts from the early conversations we've had, this seems like something that could be feasible. So that's why we're bringing this to you today, so that nobody's surprised with additional conversations. If there are no major red flags from you, we'd like to bring this to the core. That'd be the next key stakeholder in this, just a high-level discussion. And from there, we would come back with additional detailed presentations for this board, for the conservation board, to the city, and to the DNR and the core as well.
Is there any of these located along the Missouri River corridor, either on Nebraska, Iowa side, or South Dakota, or North Dakota, or any of them
I don't know what's in the Dakotas, but there's nothing on the Iowa, Nebraska.
on their side?
There's nothing really. Gypsum City's the only thing west of Des Moines, and it's north of that. Yeah, nothing.
Are there any possibilities for docking?
The lake has 2 ramps down there already. Man, almost got ramps to get in, and so do we got ramps up at Narrows.
So ramp, yeah, just north of Narrows Park.
On
It'd
the,
be tough to have that compatible down here, I think.
Yeah, I don't see how at the north side, all the way at the south under the bridge, but I don't think DOT wants people fooling under the
Yeah.
bridge.
It'd be tough. It's a good thought, though.
in that river.
Yeah.
Any other questions from this board?
No,
All
I think
right,
there's a need for it. I've ridden motorcycles and 4-wheelers and ATVs all the time. Boy. There's a lot of people that would really like this.
there's a lot of people that enjoyed it before, and I think there's a lot of people even more so now that would utilize this.
This could be a destination recreation site if we were ever to get to the campground. Gypsum
Yeah.
City's full every weekend during the season. They've got little cabins there and
There's the recreation side of it, but yeah, there's also the economic development that would come with this as well. So again, all of these things that we'd explore further as we got down the road.
I see that.
Yeah,
no, it's been a work in progress for, shit, I don't know, since the 80s, late 80s maybe, down there. I think it started out just basically homemade,
right.
with people that went down there.
Ever since we were kids,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
remember?
Yeah.
I see a strength in the volunteers that would be working to maintain it.
When they used to ride
Yeah,
it.
this, full partnership
Oh,
with
yeah.
volunteers,
Oh, yeah.
DNR, the city and the county would really provide a strong base for this thing to last.
And
well.
the Iowa OHV Association, they're
Yeah,
pretty sharp.
that's right.
They've been involved in the development of the whole network.
A lot of support and positive energy
Yeah.
for this thing right now.
Yeah, I think in 95, it was one person who was driving this forward, and it ran from 98 to 19. But now we've got a 5-way planning partnership. And we've got some horsepower and smart folks in the group. And so we're going the right way. I agree.
Good.
Really appreciate you coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
It's posted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Time.
Thank you.
So has that always been 1750 or did they raise that?
I don't know.
I'm
I think it
guessing,
was.
really? I
Yeah.
was gonna guess it started out at $12 or something. They've raised it as time went along. Thank you.
See you guys.
Okay. Next up, Joshua Reynolds, Secondary Roads Grievance Appeal Hearing. Hello, buddy.
Yeah, so before I start, I just want to say the employee in question is a great guy. This has nothing to do with him. I think he's a valuable employee. Just want to get that out of the way.
Okay.
If you all have read my grievances, step 1, 2,
Right.
I'll
I think
keep
everybody
it,
has him.
I'll keep it brief.
Okay.
Decision was made to bring back an employee, and I believe that goes against our county policies, or bare minimum, the gray areas of the policies are being misused to justify the rationale. So that's the brief summary. I have on my second step of the grievance, the first step of the grievance, I'm sorry, the second step went right to you because our department head non-existent. The response I got back, my argument was that it should have been approved by the board. Anything within the first 30 days after the termination of employment should have been approved by the board. And the response I got back was the department head can rescind an official resignation. But if you look at that policy as a whole, it's within the confines of their week's notice. So employees are requested to give advance written notice of their intent to resign. Employees who fail to give written notice are deemed ineligible for reemployment. When giving a written notice of resignation, the following guidelines are suggested. In the sub-para they came back with was sub D, official resignations may only be rescinded with the approval of the department head. And if you look at A through C, it's talking about, department heads, it's requested that they give at least a 4-week notice. Administrative employees suggest 3-week notice. Guys like me, 2-week notice. So I believe that it's only within that week's notice when the department head can rescind that decision. So that was my rebuttal. That was not had been responded to yet.
Wherever that says.
What's that?
Where's it said at? Does it sit at his direct superintendent or
What exactly says
What-
is
what you said,
his
asking,
grievance or
what he was asking for on that point of,
who can rescind or who can accept the rescinding of the
he's
resignation?
supposed to respond to it.
The board is supposed to respond to it at this time because the department head is not. There is no department head, so.
I was told by Mary Elledge that my second step would be sent to Matt Wilbur and Mary because there was no department head. And then that got stepped straight to step 3, and now it's the board of supervisors.
We had step 3.
So essentially, we're at step 3 because there is no department head. So it's the board's policy. It's the board's grievance procedure. So we basically skip step 2 since there is no department head to grieve it to. So yeah, it's with the board now.
Okay.
Did the termination letter from this individual, was it provided in writing?
Did we receive it in writing? Yes,
Do you have that with you?
I do not.
What
I
were the
wasn't asked
dates,
to
what were the
prepare
dates
anything for
on it?
today. What was that?
What were the dates on it?
pull it up. Oh, you have the time.
As I understand, the last day
Okay.
was.
August 8th was his last day.
I like to,
7/17.
Yes.
I like to,
What did it say on his termination, or not his termination letter, whatever you want to call it, his resignation letter?
August 25th was his last, July 25th. Friday, July 25th was his last working day. Not August 8th. The 25th was his last working day.
That is correct. His last physical working day was the 25th, but his resignation, his last day was going to be the 8th, but he already had approved vacation. I'm trying to find his letter, sorry, I
And
wasn't.
during that 2 weeks, he was working for his new employer.
So July 25th was his last day, and then we agreed to pay him for his 2 weeks vacation. Did we pay him for his 2 weeks vacation?
Yes.
I believe that takes us into secondary employment, which I highly doubt the proper paperwork was filled out for that while he was working those 2 weeks at a new job.
I don't believe that that was discussed in the grievance, so I don't
It
know.
was,
The secondary employment.
step 2.
I didn't see the step 2. I was only given a step.
It was my understanding that it could not.
I'm not involved. The attorney's office isn't involved in it. I was just.
Well, if his last
Right,
day was
right
the
in
25th, and then you went ahead and paid him for his vacation that we owed him. His last working day was the 25th. So then if he then.
Okay, I found his letter. Sorry, I wasn't asked to prepare anything, so I didn't bring any of that. I didn't even know that I would be speaking. So his letter was his last working day would be August 8th. The vacation he was paid out was not the rest of his balance. He was never paid out his full balances. He had already had prior approved vacation.
Just a second ago, you said his last working day was the 25th.
Physical working day, yes, but in the past with resignations and or retirements, we've allowed them to put in their notice and continue on.
You know when that vacation request was submitted?
I would have to go back in UKG and look.
So a week before his job was posted and closed on the 25th of July, a week prior to that, his snow route was up for bid. And I'm led to believe that they would know he's leaving at that point if you're gonna bid a snow route for his position. So I don't know how long they knew about his possibility of leaving. So that leads me to believe that the 2 week vacation was pre-planned as he's working for a new employer. But using vacation to work for your second job is okay.
Yeah, he submitted his resignation with his last working day being 8/8/25, but it was actually July 25th, right? Is that right?
That's correct.
Did he fill out the proper paperwork to get his last check mailed to him?
I'm not about to speak on what Tyler's process was about him being
Without
here.
an HR director and without a department head.
I'm
Just,
sorry, what?
we're at a disadvantage without an HR director and without the department head. Just, you've compiled a lot of great facts here and we're just trying to filter through them.
I got more.
Well, his last working day was the 25th, and then he wanted to rescind his resignation on the 1st. it's a little late. If his last working day is the 25th, we have a policy that, if you're gonna hire a previous employee, that should come to the board for approval.
So his approved resignation letter, he put in there, my last working day will be August 8th. After he submitted that is when he took the vacation, I'm assuming. I was out during this time and I'll be honest, no one asked me to prepare anything, so I'm just trying to do the best. So Josh, I apologize to you as well. I'm not prepared for this in the entirety. Typically at step 3, it's the board and between you and the board, and nobody reached out to ask me to prepare anything, so I apologize, I'm not ready to speak on it.
This probably should have been put on the agenda as, whatever, appeal hearing number 3 or something, so that we would have been, I thought we've only done one so far. If we
So
bypass-
generally the board would only see or hear the appeal once. The board doesn't have to be involved multiple times.
So what,
We just,
and two is what, step 2?
we're basically skipping step 2. So we're pretending like step 2 doesn't exist until we have a department head. Because the first grievance went to the direct supervisor, I believe. And then generally it would go to the department head and then come to the board. But because there is no department head, we've skipped step 2. So for purposes of today, it's as if we don't have a step 2. So it is now in front of the board as a grievance, in front of the board as it would be if we had gone to step 2.
So in the policy in the future, as we work through those, then that exception needs to be, step 2 goes to the board also. If that's what the policy people decide or something.
If there's no acting department head.
Yeah, or something, you know.
What are our options today, Kristen?
I wasn't prepared to give options. Nobody reached out to me and asked me for anything either. It's the board's policy, the board's procedure, so I guess whatever the board would like to do.
May I speak again?
Yeah.
As far as the department head not being, skipping step 2, step 3, I think the same thing could be added to our hiring process. So his job closed the 25th. I don't know how many applicants there were. I know several of them reached out to me very upset. I think if no department head, our next in command is out of the office, there needs to be a foreman can make the decision. We have 2 of them can make this decision. Maybe the board makes the hiring decision, but the job closed, our applications were in, and we sat and waited. And that's inevitably why he was allowed to come back, because there was a job opening at his last position that should have been closed. So I think there needs to be something in the policy that can give power to somebody else to make these decisions and not just sit and wait.
Brandon was still the department head until August 5th.
And why wasn't the decision made? We had plenty of time. We sat on it for 2 weeks.
So I do have some information that I'm looking at now, as far as a timeline goes. And so if the board would like me to clarify a few things, I can give you what I have. I believe you've all had, I think this email was sent to the board as a whole as well. But it looks like the notice of resignation was submitted on July 17th, stating that the last working day or the last date of employment would be August 8th. So whether he had vacation or not, as far as I understand it, if that's the last date of employment, that's the last date of employment. So that's the day that he would have wanted to resign by. I understand that on August 1st, the employee requested to formally rescind his resignation, which would have been within that time period. It would have been 1 week before his last working day or his last date of employment. And then it looks like on August 4th, Brandon, who was the acting department head at the time, approved the resignation or the rescinding of the resignation. And so I believe that that's in accordance with our county policy. I think that's policy 120. And so I don't, as far as the timeline goes, hopefully that clarifies to the board. I don't know that there was any issues. Obviously, I'm I don't have all of the policies memorized or, I'm not the HR director, so I'm just trying to help out with the timeline based on the information I have. I don't know that there's a whole lot else that I can help with.
So where are all those documents?
I would assume like the resignation
Yeah,
and
resignation and all that documentation.
It's personnel file.
Yeah.
So if I might cut
It
in,
sounds like you posted a job while you were still employed.
yeah,
We
which
always
I
do.
believe is a
Yes.
common practice. If
Yeah.
you know somebody's going to quit or retire, you can post the job
And
early. to get
that's
somebody
allowed?
hired.
Is that what I'm
Absolutely.
understanding? It is
Yeah.
allowed.
I mean, if I told Matt tomorrow that I was gonna leave at the end of the month, I would expect for him to post my position.
And this is the time that you were waiting, right?
after the 25th. I actually applied 18th because that's when it became available to us, but the official paper said the 21st to the 25th. So I applied for this position on the 18th and confirmed on the next Monday by Tina. But I'd like to explain a little bit because she's not wrong. She's right. I'm sure his last day on paper was the 8th, but on July 17th, he knew he was leaving the county on the 25th. He knew that following Monday, he was gonna be starting a new job. So he took 2 weeks paid vacation, double dipping, while he worked his new job. Was there secondary employment paperwork filled out? What if he got hurt? What if he got hurt at home? He's still covered by our insurance. He's still covered under everything we provide. So I don't think it's right to, on the 17th, say you're gonna leave, put in a resignation for the 2 weeks you're gonna be working in another job. That's part of my argument. His 2 weeks should have been the 25th and the 2 weeks leading up to the 25th. To his last official working day.
When was his vacation paid out? Do we know anything about that?
He didn't get paid out for his vacation and sick leave or not sick leave, but his vacation. We never did any separation paperwork or anything.
His lump sum of his vacation and his last paycheck should have been mailed to him August 1st. But because his vacation was approved till August 8th, that's not the case. Because our last paycheck was the 25th.
I don't want to cut you off, but I mean, if I understand how the procedures would work, if his last date of employment was August 8th, then he wouldn't get paid out for anything until after August.
That is correct.
That's correct.
And
so
so
he
he
should
should only
have-
for someone to have a last working day and then have vacation time after that, so that their last official day comes later than their last working day. That's not uncommon.
Yeah. That's been a past practice. We've had lots of employees do that, both retiring and resigning.
Correct.
So from my understanding of policy, what we would look at is the date on the resignation letter, the last date of employment, regardless of the last day he was physically working. The date for our policies is the last date of employment.
Correct.
which I
There would have
believe
been
is
no accumulated payout until after the 8th.
And he rescinded his resignation first.
the first, yep. So 1 week before
So
the
that
last.
negates
date.
everything that he's done.
So long as it's accepted. I mean, Brandon didn't have to accept the rescinding of the resignation, but it seems like he, as the acting department head, was authorized to do so and decided to accept the resignation or the rescinding of the resignation. And so the resignation is no longer effective as of August 4th, which would have been prior to his last day of employment. So I don't, based on that timeline alone, I don't see any issues that
And that brings me to
would
this.
fall here.
114 subparagraph 3 under secondary employment. All employees, including part-time employees, must obtain prior approval from their department head before undertaking any secondary employment or other work activity. A secondary employee request form must be completed and submitted to the department head. He was working another job during those 2 weeks. He should have filed a paperwork for secondary employment.
I know the board's had several discussions about secondary employment, and we've looked at the policy several times. I think the general consensus in the few times that I recall that conversation, if somebody's working on their off hours or their vacation time and it's not a conflict with the county, I don't believe that the county has a big issue with.
Josh, was that secondary employment in the first set of your grievance?
Well,
Yeah.
there are some,
No, so.
I believe last time we had the grievance that And I wish Matt was here. He said that the grievance could only be what was in step one for the entire
Yeah,
step.
that's what I.
So I
I
did.
agree with that. If the grievance is open, it should be open for discussion because they can change their answer. Because my first grievance, I was told one reason. And then when I submitted my reasoning for my grievance in step one, their rebuttal was completely different. So they can change their rationale, but I can't change mine. I'm just going off what I'm told. I'm submitting, the board should have approved it. They came back with an incomplete.
Are you the one that was a tanker license?
That's me.
First.
That's me.
Now, I'm gonna say this, I come from the private sector. And I'm gonna tell you, and I've worked for Fortune 500 companies, you have to be qualified to apply for the position you were applying for. At the time, you were not, you didn't have a tanker.
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
We don't want
That's completely, that was
Well, I'm
already
just trying to
been.
understand this whole concept, because it's convoluted, in my opinion.
And I don't want to cut you off for that. I want to help you understand as well, but I think that that is a separate grievance from a separate time. So I don't want to,
Facing a new.
this is a completely separate issue.
Okay, I'm gonna say on this, okay, I had a clear understanding last time. I'm not having a clear understanding of right or wrong on the other side at this point. I'm gonna have to have more input, from you made it clear what you're looking for. But I need a kind of a better legal opinion of all the processes that were followed or were not followed.
Sure, and
For
I'm
me
sorry,
to-
Jeff,
to-
I wasn't,
to-
I was
to-
never asked to give a
Yes,
legal opinion
yes,
for today. So I think,
I understand, but I'm, to give reference, deference to both sides, I'm gonna have a clearer understanding.
well, and
of how
also,
this
I'll
process-
tell you, this isn't really a legal issue so much as it's a policy issue.
Right.
And
right,
so
right.
I know generally we'd have, because like Susan said, we don't have a department head and we don't have a HR director, so we're in kind of a
Right.
a sticky situation
We're all
there.
sitting here, pins and needles. In my opinion, if August 8th was the last date of employment, and then the fellow that we're talking about rescinded his resignation before that time, I'm gonna say, well, okay, if that's policy, then I would accept that.
I believe that is the.
And I think the fact that he was employed during vacation time is a separate issue.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Sure.
So I don't know if we want to, address that at some point or how we address it. He's now back to being employed by the county. Is that what I'm understanding?
His continued his employment.
Always was.
He
Okay.
was never terminated. He was never given exit paperwork or anything. So his his employment never lapsed with the county.
When would he have been given this termination paper?
So if his last day of employment was August 8th, then they would have taken care of that August 8th. That would have been when he would have,
You wouldn't give it to him when he gave you the letter on resigning?
I don't believe that that's our policy.
No,
Really?
you're talking like accumulated leave and so forth.
No, if I'm leaving, I'm saying I'm resigning, and I leave to go on vacation, you don't give me my paperwork?
But you're technically an employee, you.
No, I know, but I'm not coming
don't
back.
think the
I'm going on
employees
vacation. I'm not coming back.
I think the paperwork is mostly on our end. I don't think the employees have to do a whole lot to.
No, exactly right. It's on our end.
I mean, I think there might be a form or two.
I mean,
they
we
have
need
to
a
sign.
letter of resignation, but that's about it. And then at that point, whether it's Cobra or whatever it is, kicks in at that point after their last day.
So I brought the grievance procedure up in front of me and the difference between step 2 and step 3. Step 2, the department head goes out and conducts an investigation and obtains all of these documents that we've been asking for. Step 3 is the facts are presented to us from the step 2 investigations. So we haven't had a chance to complete that step 2 investigation, in my opinion. I don't see how we can honestly make a decision on your appeal without having all of these facts answered in front of us. What's the solution? In your opinion, what's the outcome you're looking for?
I think if we're not abusing the gray areas of the policy, I believe however many employees that did his position while it was open and closed, I think those people should be given the opportunity to interview for that position, a new candidate selected. And I think the returning employee should be given a chance to pick out whatever open position there is to fill in that position.
But you're saying return an employee, and they're saying that the employee never left.
I'm saying he's a rehire. That's my
Sounds
argument.
like that's where the fine line is, right there.
I believe that's the question of the grievance is, was this employee a rehire or is this employee's employment never terminated?
And it all comes down to like, if you agree with the 2 weeks vacation after his last working day, that's pretty much it. If you believe his last working day was the 25th and his vacation was justifiable, then I'm losing. Which is okay. But, if you agree that no paperwork for secondary employment was made and it's okay to take 2 weeks while you're working in the other job, then
What would be important to find out is what we done in the past. I can't hear you.
In secondary roads, we have allowed people to resign and or retire and use vacation to carry them out. In this instance,
secondary roads, that happens.
That's
everywhere.
throughout the county, and that's what we need to find out. Can we find that out?
I don't know, I argued past practice last time and I was turned down, so.
I think, when we tried, and as Susan stated, get all the necessary documents, and sorry, Josh, you'll have to probably come back so that we can.
I don't mind seeing you guys. Get out.
We'll come back and make a decision based on what we've got for facts, such.
But you bring up some very valid points, and it's
And
important that we treat all employees the same.
I just want to say again, the guy who they rehired is a great guy. I have no problem with him coming back. I just believe our policies are being misused.
He didn't have a problem coming back either.
No.
After he went to work for somebody for 2 weeks and found out it wasn't as bad a place as he thought it was.
I will say, if we're gonna do the secondary employment, there are a lot of employees that do have secondary employment that don't have those forms on file.
We don't have them on file?
And it's been a question in the policy committee for a long time, and
Okay, well then, we got the policy committee somewhere soon, right?
Well, we just approved it, a few months ago.
This policy?
Yeah.
Sure.
They just have to file
Did the board, are you sure the board approved the secondary policy?
no, it got approved. I think policy committee was gonna take it to the board. I could be wrong about that.
No, I believe it was, but
Well,
it doesn't matter. We'll take a look at it.
we discussed.
So, Josh, why don't you, give us this week and then we can see if we get you on probably for next week. If not, the week of the 16th for sure. Okay. Find out anything different, then I guess let's go with that too. Any other questions for Josh? Okay.
So are we gonna work with Mary, Tina, and
Yeah. Everybody
Kristen?
gather up the
Gather the
docs.
facts?
Yeah.
Are we tabling this to the 9th then, or?
Well, we'll see what we get for information, either the 9th or the 16th, possibly. And nobody's going anywhere, it look like. Okay. Now
Thanks, Josh.
Josh, thank you. Now we're to discussion on hiring county engineer. I gave or had Jeanette give you, I believe, 5 applications after the posting. I don't know what you put on the posting. You didn't change the posting? No, I know, but after the last meeting, did you go in and change the posting for the
Yes.
position?
Salary.
And that was it? Okay. Can you give me the posting?
You wanted about the license. Yes.
Well, it sure created, some activity, so there's at least of the five, there's three of them that I think we have to interview. And, there's at least a couple of really good ones, I think, so.
Well, I haven't had a chance to review them.
No,
I'm anxious to read them.
yeah, but I mean, I think there was three of them that were in the service, so.
When was the posting done?
I updated it Tuesday for
Okay.
internal, and then throughout the week, the other ones got it posted on their sites, other than the college ones, and that's coming this week. There was some form on that issue.
So we could be very well be getting more applications, is that right?
We've gotten one since we've updated it, and that was a referral from Mills County.
Pardon me?
We've gotten one new one since we updated the post, and that was a referral from Mills County engineer. Well, they used him as the referral. Let me rephrase that.
Jake, is that right?
Sorry. Let me rephrase that.
What,
Where'd the others
how much has reference, is that what you're saying?
He said you told me before. Is what he worded.
didn't go through her,
Yeah, most went through that system.
Okay,
because we got five.
Yeah, there's five. There's a total of five.
there's a total of 5,
Okay.
and one new one. Yeah.
So is that six then? Then there's a total of five.
Yeah.
Not one new one.
No, yeah.
Okay.
So
So
When would we put that on the-
We'll need to schedule, review those and then I guess start scheduling the interviews.
Hey, Scott, I just want to say to clarify that I did speak with an individual. I don't know on a personal or a long career history at all. Just have met the guy and talked with him over lunch and said, I think it'd be a good idea if you apply.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's probably maybe what he's referencing to, not necessarily me as a reference that I can vouch for.
Right.
Application.
You're glad you clarified that.
Yeah, I just wanna-
Well, I assume he was local then.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was local, from what I saw, just, I met with him about an hour and it seemed like he had qualifications and the attitude for it, so.
Right. No, he looked pretty
Thank
good, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on that?
for the county engineer discussion.
Yeah.
There's a question about posting when Jacob accepted the interim, he said he wasn't going to be doing any personnel decisions. But we've got a truck driver position that needs to be posted and some other open positions. And did you have a recommendation on that, Jake?
I talked with my attorney's office, and in the interim agreement, it says it is not intended to, so since it's not a shall not, they're comfortable with me stepping in on things that I feel necessary. I know from personal experience, especially coming into winter, it sounds like it's far off, but it's really not by the time you go through the whole process, so I think we should go ahead and try posting those and getting those vacancies filled. In the management part, where there's vacancies there, I think we hold off just a little bit longer to see if we can get someone to come in. Those ideally would be filled by the full-time engineer. But again, you don't want to go too long without having someone in place.
Right.
Well, we have job descriptions for all of those open positions, so, get those numbers to Mary and Mary will get them posted. Maybe even today.
I agree. Yes.
We'll post internally first and then see how things shake out and then
How long they gotta be posted internally?
5 days.
The
Okay,
union ones are 5 and non-union
Yeah.
are 10.
okay.
But then that can re-trigger another one, because if someone moves, then their position gets.
Before you post those, I really would like to see them in writing, on paper.
Posts.
Yeah. Can I do that?
And I think they're all approved jobs that you've already approved. That makes
I
sense.
would please like to see them. I may want to reapproval or not approval.
I think that, right,
You may not want to approve them if they don't have salary ranges on them.
Every job has a salary range besides the directors. Those typically were not put in the salary range. You can do.
That, I think the process you're using right now, you post them on our
intranet too, right?
for 5 days.
And I do not post the internal one.
We post internally, what we do is just sheets and people can sign their name. And then once we have an actual vacant position to go out to the public, then we post out to the public. It's a union position, the salary is tied to it, there's no negotiations with it. Right now, we're just talking about the truck driver position, the tech or assistant manager, any of that, we're gonna hold off on for a little bit.
So you only make the truck driver position open to the secondary roads employees. It's not open to all Pot County employees.
Correct.
Have any employees given their, what I would call their retirement papers, or when do they do
That's
that?
what triggered this truck driver position. to
This is
be
a
posted.
retirement,
Mhm.
retiring when?
October 31st would be the last day.
On the east or west side?
East.
East. Okay. Anything else on that?
Well, Jacob, I really appreciate you filling in and doing this double duty for us.
Yeah.
And Tina, I appreciate you bringing all of this to us,
Thanks, you guys.
keeping the wheels on the
problem.
bus.
Okay. Think it's gonna be safe down there in Mills County. It wasn't last Thursday. When I was going to Kansas City.
Safe?
Yeah, the roads down there weren't very safe. All them Husker fans,
on a state highway.
all them Husker,
Pretty good.
all them Husker fans trying to get down to Kansas City.
Yeah.
Wasn't pretty.
I don't watch the news and I don't watch sports, so you know, I have a pretty relaxing life.
Just fix roads.
Okay, well, thank you guys very much.
Thanks for
Oh,
all the info.
Yep.
Really appreciate it. Are you gonna work on the other previous deal?
we just need to get all the information.
Yeah, we don't have enough.
Go dig it for work. So do those jobs they're talking about, do they post them only at the Rock and the shops?
I don't know if it's at the Rock or if they have like an internal posting. Question. But I know
I
that
mean,
they,
could a guy from Buildings and Grounds go apply for,
no, it's just within the roads department.
you gotta be in the roads
Yeah,
department.
so they post them internally within the roads department for anybody who wants to move into that position. And then if they don't get any interest, then they post outside.
Okay.
Part of it is union dictated.
Yeah.
Well, I understand the union stuff, but not. Good. Well, let's see, we gotta do updates for board week, Jeff. Right.
I was at EMA. And there's some bike trails, and then, Council Bluffs Visitor Bureau. And I talked to a gentleman out in the county that has had his phone lines cut,
Oh, yeah, thank you.
wants to know what we can do. Do we inspect those digs or what?
They get a permit from the engineer, and I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'd like to try to go and verify his facts. Because a lot of times he's been, not real factual. And he doesn't want a cell phone.
I get that. I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all, but cutting lines,
Well, I think,
boy,
we-
when I was
why
in
wouldn't we,
construction,
why
you
wouldn't
paid
why
dearly.
wouldn't be hearing from a lot more people? You think he's got one single line that runs to his house and that's
I
it?
don't know. I don't know, Scott.
But I'm just saying,
Something I wanted to bring up,
no, I know.
and I think he deserves, you know, something, an answer.
Yeah. You can't tell us who's cutting the line.
No.
So who's all out there that serves phones?
It's like there's, what is there, 11
Well-
companies in Council Bluffs?
No, I don't
Putting in,
think so.
there's some ungodly amount of companies putting in,
Oh, the cable, fiber,
fiber optics.
yeah.
They're just, wow,
Don't get me started on that.
yeah.
Okay. Tim?
No.
No, Susan?
I attended the webinar on the Iowa Public Information Board on Iowa's open meetings laws. That was the one that Matt Wilbur had sent us the recommendation we might want to review. I attended the Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting and then SWIPCO.
I was at the zoning board of adjustment and I had Thriving Family Alliance. Okay. Oh, now we got public comment. Any public comment?
Don Anderson is open.
Shawnee Anderson, 19377 340th Street, Oakland. So last week I spoke to you guys about the just overall the word that I've been getting from county residents and stuff that have been contacting me and how uncomfortable they feel and how worried about their jobs. And I know Mark Shoemaker kind of spoke to that point too, that, you know, folks are just keeping their heads down because they don't feel like there's a respect from this board. And I just massively saw that today. I can recall when Brendan, I'm not sure, had come to this board asking for Tina to get a little bit of a raise, at least for the time being, because she was practically acting as department head. She's taking on a lot more duties. She's taking on a lot more stuff since we don't have a county engineer. Obviously, she can't do the engineering portion of that. She's not qualified for that, but she is taking on a lot more paperwork wise and those sorts of things. And of course, that was shot down. There wasn't even a discussion as to maybe, you know, temporarily while there was no department head, knowing that she's doing so much more. And then today, during this grievance confusion, it was almost expected by some of you that she would have paperwork ready when she wasn't even on the agenda for that. She could have left after she and Jake were done presenting. And it was just so uncomfortable to watch that it would be expected of her to have something ready and even of Kristen to have something ready on the legality without first asking. You know, you all are on the board. You are the board. You knew what was coming before you. You knew Josh was coming before you on this matter, and didn't ask for any of those things beforehand. And even if you had asked for those things beforehand, that would normally be something that a department head would take care of, I would assume. That would have been something that John would have taken care of. And instead, here is Tina trying to do her best. But you didn't see it fit to give her any sort of compensation for that. And I think it speaks tremendously as to why a lot of county employees right now are very, very uncomfortable and the kind of the feeling, you know, they don't want to come forward if they see something wrong because they're afraid of losing their jobs. And they just don't feel respected or appreciated. And it was really, really difficult to watch today with Tina. Thank you.
You're dead wrong.
What?
Dead wrong.
I'm dead wrong?
Yeah.
I'm dead
Now
wrong.
you're done. Man, just shut it off.
What do you mean I'm done?
You're done. You're
Done what?
up.
Done what?
You're done talking.
Dead wrong.
You should get your facts.
Really?
Yeah, because I see people all weekend long, all weekend long. Tell them to call me.
Why would you answer their call?
Yeah, I'll answer a call.
Why do you answer the newspaper's call?
Oh, yeah,
You don't answer anybody's call.
right.
But I'm done.
Yeah, you're done.
I'm done.
Last week you were spoken inappropriately here.
Not one thing that I said was not true. Not
You're
one thing that I said
done.
was not true.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Motion.
Aye.
Aye. Who was the second? I'm sorry.
Ken made the motion, Jeff was the second.
Okay.